Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, DPS families. Welcome to Family Academy's How to Virtual Class Series. Tonight's webinar class is titled Keeping Student Information Current. This short webinar class is designed to answer your questions related to student information. So, families, please post your questions in the Facebook chat and we will answer your questions during this session. Tonight, patrolling the Facebook chat, we have Althea Scriven, our Family Academy project manager, as well as Melissa Watson, director of the Office of School Relations. And tonight, we have a tag team effort from Ms. Marshall, who is the director of student assignment, and Ms. Thompson, who is a student information systems coordinator. And they will be providing you all with some valuable information tonight. So I'm going to hand it off to our dynamic team for tonight, Ms. Marshall and Ms. Thompson. The show is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Jones, and good evening, everyone. So happy to have this opportunity to talk with you and to chat with you. And again, please put your questions in the chat. We're very happy to be here and to talk to you about this really important topic of keeping your children's information, your students' information current with Durham Public Schools. And I want to start off with just a quick story, not even a story, a situation that happened just recently, even in this very difficult time of COVID. And many of us will remember back in March when our governor announced that families who receive free and reduced lunch um, will be able to get benefits, food benefits from um, through the PEBT cards. And with that, that was a partnership with the Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Instruction. That's us. And what the Department of Health and Human Services did was reach out to schools and say, hey, we need addresses of those families. And so we provided the addresses that we had on file to the Department of Health and Human Services to get those benefit cards to our families. And as many of you know, some of you may have even experienced the difficulties that came with getting those cards because so many addresses, so many phone numbers were not correct in our database and in our Power School database. So it was very difficult. We're happy that we were able to work through that and get some workarounds. But that's just one quick example of how very, very important it is to keep your child's information up to date because that's how we connect with you, how we stay connected to our family. So just wanted to kind of start with that. And again, and we can go on to the next slide. So again, my name is Melody and I am the Director of Student Assignment. So of course, I want to talk to you about how your address directly correlates to your student's assignment, your student's school assignment. Your address directly determines that. Every single address in Durham is assigned a school, a Durham public school. So if you live in Durham County, you have a school assignment with Durham Public Schools, and we want you with us. We want you to take that assignment and attend those schools. So every single Durham County resident has a home in Durham Public Schools. And your address determines your base school, and that's the school that you're assigned to. So, and if you have about where your address may be associated or where what school your address is assigned to, you can always reach out to the Office of Student Assignment, or you can go to our school locator that's located on Durham Public Schools website, dpsnc.net. And there's a school locator, and you can type in any address in Durham, and it should tell you what school that your child is assigned to, or your address is assigned to. And also for our families who take advantage of our magnet and CTE pathway programs, during our lottery, which is coming up pretty soon as time is flying by. It's October, but our magnet lottery will actually take place in January 11th through February 5th. You'll hear much more about that, so don't feel like you have to write it down. But a lot of our families take advantage of that school choice opportunity through our magnet and CTE pathway lottery. And in that lottery, are priorities that are based on where you live. So we need to know, we need to make sure we have that right address because some schools you can apply to based on your address. And then there are also those schools that are closer where you have priorities. You'll have a better chance of getting into the school that you want based on your address. So it's really important that from a school assignment perspective, again, that we have that right address in place. And also, when it comes to transportation, our babies are transported all over from Durham, tens of thousands of kids every morning when we get back together, when we are able, when it's safe to get back together. Those buses are assigned based off of the address that's in Power School. So our transportation department depends on you as parents to keep that address updated and so that they'll know where to pick your child up. And also, when it comes, so of course, I wanted to get that residency information out, and I'm going to come back to our questions after this slide. But I also wanted to talk about contact information, how to keep your, and why it's important to keep your contact information up to date. Your phone number, your email addresses, your emergency contacts, those are probably the most important things that we need to make sure that your child is safe. It's also very important that we're able to communicate with you. Our when you get those calls from Chip Suttereth or from the district, or if you about a snow day, or if your principal is trying to call you about curriculum night, that is how we communicate through the contact information that we have on file. The contact information that is on file with Power School. So we want to make sure that we are connected with you and that we have the right information to do that. And also, we want to know who to call if we can't get in contact with you. Who do we call? Can we call grandma? Can we call an uncle or aunt? We need that information to make sure that we're able to connect with you, make sure that your babies are safe, that we're able to get in contact if there is a reason that we can't get in contact with you. So we want to know who to call and also when to call them, and we prioritize those calls. And Ms. Thompson is going to talk more about that in um, the next session, next part of this session. I'm going to pause and take a look at the chat. I heard that they were offering another round of PEBT benefits. How can I check to be certain that I don't miss this payment? So the PEBT cards are really administered by the Department of Health and Human Services, but I do believe there was a recent disbursement that happened in the past couple of weeks. I would encourage you to contact the Department of Health and Human Services, or locally our Durham County Department of Social Services. They can tell you more, but you can also check and call the number, I believe, on the back of the card, or and they can tell you your balance. What do you mean priority by where you live? Well, I was speaking of the magnet lottery, and you can certainly visit our magnet page, on dpsnc.net/magnet, and we really break down those priorities in the lottery for magnet and CTE pathways, that lottery that you're going to, again, hear a lot more about in the coming weeks. So that's what I meant. And can I use my daycare as an address instead? Unfortunately, not. We need to know where you are domiciled, and that means where you live. And that's how we base our base assignment schools. Now, there are transfer options based on childcare. That's a hardship. So you can certainly contact the Office of Student Assignment, and we're happy to talk more about that option. I don't want the school calling me. Do I have to give the phone number? We certainly want to encourage you to stay connected to the school. We encourage a phone number or at least an email address, because we do need that. We need to make sure that we can connect with you regarding your child, and that's for safety reasons and for your child's success. I share my home. Can I use a P.O. box? If you share your home, again, contact the Office of Student Assignment. We have options for you. And unfortunately, we can't use a P.O. box, but there are options when you share a home. So contact the Office of Student Assignment. I'm going to pass the mic, the virtual mic, over to my counterpart, Ms. Thompson, because she is going to talk to you about how to update, because that's really important. We want to talk about how to update this information, and we'll come back and answer questions.
Thank you, Melody. So a few of the questions that are in the chat will be answered during this next session. And tonight we're going to review PowerSchool, current returning student registration, and the parent portal. So as Melody already addressed, it is very important that we have an updated copy of your child's information in PowerSchool. PowerSchool is the authoritative source for school records. And so School Connect calls, all that information, your report cards, anything that has to be mailed, all the information comes from PowerSchool, which is our source. Parent Portal allows the parent to view what's in PowerSchool. So to answer and reiterate the importance of having a number on file, today I shared with data managers because they had some similar questions of parents who don't want the school to call them. Keep in mind that there are other reasons for schools to notify parents and families. So in the event that for whatever reason the school had to close or be evacuated due to power failure or whatever the case may be, it is critically important that we have that contact number on file so that we can quickly contact the parent. Or if your student is in building in session and becomes sick, we need that phone number so we can contact you to let you know that your child, your son or daughter is sick. So it is vitally important to stay in close communication and contact with your school. I'm going to go to the next slide. So I'm going to toggle for a minute between Parent Portal and the DPS webpage. When you're on the DPS webpage, as a parent, on the home page, you want to look at the tabs across the top and go to Programs and Services. And then there are two gold words. One is Programs, the other is Services. And under Services, there's one called PowerSchool Parent Portal. Once you click on PowerSchool Parent Portal, it gives the parent all the information that's needed in order to set up a PowerSchool Parent Portal account. You have links to PowerSchool Parent Portal and Parent Portal Resources. I'm clicking on Parent Portal Resources. Next, it guides me through instructions on creating a Parent Portal account, and then the video instructions for creating a Parent Portal account. NCDPI public instruction resources are also available, and there are also videos in English and in Spanish for both elementary and secondary with instructions on accessing the 2021 grades for your student. So we're going to click on and focus tonight on the instructions for creating a Parent Portal account. We're going to allow it to load. And the letter is listed to Dear Parents. And at the very beginning, it walks you through step by step on how to access the account for your student. It starts with step 1 to utilize a browser for your web, either Google Chrome, Firefox, or Internet Explorer, and then the DPS web page. Next, you have your login screen, and here's where I'll begin toggling between the letter and the PowerPoint. We have the login screen where you have your username and password if you already have an account. If you don't and would like to create one, you want to make sure you click on the Create Account tab. Next, after you click the Create Account tab, a next pop-up window will appear, and you want to click on Create Account on the blue tab. The new window will populate, and you will have first name, last name, your email address, your desired username, your password, and you will re-enter the password. Next, on your next screen is where you enter the information for your student. You will be able to receive an access code with the letter, an access code and information from your child's teacher. The access codes were sent out in fourth quarter of last year, and they have already been sent home again this year. If you have not received your access code, please reach out to your child's teacher so that you can gain access. On the next screen, you will list your child's name, the access ID, the access password, and the relationship. Next, you will hit enter. If you have to add another student, you can do so by clicking on the button. And then after you have hit enter, it will populate back to that sign-in screen that we originally started with, where you will enter in that username you created, the password, and then the sign-in button. Next in the letter, it also provides instructions on your grades and attendance and your standards-based grades. It also includes instructions on your grade scale. So now we'll switch back to the PowerPoint. So here we have a few screens to give us detailed information of what the screen looks like once you sign in. For this example, at the top behind welcome will be the parent's name. And then for this example, we have two students, Ruth and John. The light blue tab is the current active tab for Ruth. If we clicked on John, John will become a lighter shade of blue and Ruth will become a darker shade of blue. That will let us know that we are now looking at the class score detail for, and he will list the student's name, which in this case is John. You're able to see grades and attendance, test results, grade history, attendance history, email notification, teacher comments, school bulletin, class registration, my schedule, which is the schedule of the student, school information, account preferences, and returning student enrollment. Under returning student enrollment, you want to click to update your student's registration. If you have not done so this year, we're asking that all parents complete it as soon as possible. Here you have North Carolina options and then the district code. The district code is used if you download the app. If you download the app, it's going to ask you for the district code, and you can find it here by logging into your parent portal, going through the web version. I'd also like to bring attention to the legend that's at the bottom of the screen, because it indicates if there's a blue circle with an I, it has a description. The comment box has a comment. If you click on it, it will open up the comment that the teacher has placed for your student. A green check means that it has been collected. So maybe it wasn't a grade taken, but maybe they needed progress report signed and returned. So if you see a green check box, that means that they have collected that information. The red time clock appears when assignments are late. The exclamation point with the golden circle is missing. And then you have a purple with a white slash. That means exempt from final grade. You have the green circle and a chair if the student was absent during that assignment. The half circle blue is incomplete. And the gold circle with the star is excluded. We'll now navigate to the next slide. For the attendance history, we this year have a different attendance code, which is the 1R. This will allow the parent to see how their student is coded each day for their attendance. At the bottom of the screen is a legend with the attendance codes. On this slide, we will review the codes, which is blank was present on site, 1P is early checkout, 3A is in-school suspension, 1A is illness or injury, 1B is medical/dental appointment, which can only be coded if a medical or dental appointment slip is turned into the school by a medical office or dental office. 1C, death in family. 1D, quarantine. 1E, court admin proceeding, which is only offered if the student is subpoenaed for court. The court will provide documentation to send to the school. 1F is religious observance. 1G is educational opportunity, such as field trips. 1H is teacher in treatment. 1I is local school board policy. 1K is childcare, meaning that the if the student has a child and that child was sick, then that code can be used because they didn't have adequate daycare. 1L is excused tardy, 1M is medically fragile, 1N is deployment activity, 2A is unexcused absence, 2B is unexcused no immunization, 2L is unexcused tardy, 3 is suspension, 1R is present off-site, which is current for Durham Public Schools as we are doing remote instruction, and 1X is for pre-K use only, which is non-obligatory. So that is a brief description of each of our codes. Again, it is located at the bottom of the attendance screen. I will now go to the chat and start looking for questions. So one of the first questions that was asked, and Melody had read the question, I'll read it again, about the PEBT cards. How can I check to make sure that I don't miss the payment? The Child Nutrition Department exported that they ran an export, and DPI also ran an export. That export came straight from PowerSchool, which is again another reason that you want to make sure that you complete your child's student registration as quickly as possible. Last year, we got an update a week prior to them exporting the data. By you going ahead and entering that information for your student, that means that you have your correct address is on file. The second round, we had more information and a longer time period, so we were able to update addresses before the second pool of addresses. Is it too late to apply for free and reduced lunch? No. As soon as you complete your child's student registration, embedded in that is the free and reduced lunch application, as well as transportation and opt-out forms and your student handbook and other information. The next question, do I have to create a PowerSchool account? We encourage all families to create a parent portal account. By creating a parent portal account, again, you have update to all of the updated information as far as grades and attendance. Due to COVID, we are limited with sending out and mailing report cards this year. Our authoritative source, again, for grades is Parent Portal. And we have on the DPS website, we have instructions how parents can receive their child's grades and review grades. But if I see a grade that I don't agree with, you should contact your child's teacher if you have a grade and work out arrangements with the teacher. Does everyone at the school have access to this sensitive information? Access to the information is based on user. So the answer to that question would be no, everybody does not have access. It would only be your child's teacher. And then you have your admin staff that have all access to all students. All other employees will be based on if they have interactions with your child. What if I do not want to enroll my child in Ignite? You do not have to enroll your child in Ignite Academy. They will be on remote instruction for the remainder of this semester.
I want to jump in that question too as well. If you want to enroll in Ignite when we do come back, you can certainly visit our website, ignite.dpsnc.net, and complete the information there, the registration there. Your child will not, this year, your child will not have to change schools. Your school will remain the same, and you'll stay connected to your teacher as much as possible. But again, the authoritative site for that is ignite.dpsnc.net, and you'll learn so much more about Ignite. We're very excited about that program and that opportunity.
Thank you, Melody. The next question is, can I still get my child's report card if I don't have a PowerSchool account? Remember, grades is not the only thing that's in the parent portal. You can contact your school's principal and discuss arrangements, but the authoritative source is the parent portal for grades, attendance, and for us to be able to receive updated information for your student. Can I download my child's transcript from PowerSchool for college? No, unfortunately, transcript view is not available on the parent portal. You can request that transcript from your child's school. What else can I do in PowerSchool? You can also view your students' previous year's grades in PowerSchool. It was on the left navigation panel, and I'll try and go back to that slide real quick. Under grade history, is for every year that your student is enrolled at DPS, you can go back and tab to the school and the school year, and it will show you the grades and attendance for your student for that particular school year. How long can I get access to PowerSchool? We are working with schools now. Some of our schools have reached 100% of parents who have parent portal accounts. Our goal is to ensure that all schools reach 100%. So you still have time to get a parent portal account. When is the PowerSchool account closed? Typically, the PowerSchool account parent portal is only closed during the summer, and that it goes down for a week to 2 weeks for maintenance. And that typically begins July the 1st and typically comes up around July the 10th through the 14th. My child has no grades in PowerSchool. If you have an elementary student, elementary students receive standards-based grades. All of the students, 6 through 12, have traditional 10-point scale grading. So if you have no grade in PowerSchool, please reach out to your student's teacher and gain more information on it. For standards-based grades, it will be at the end of the term, but your teacher teachers will be in communication with you about your child's grades and progress. Does my child's EC teacher also give grades? Yes, the EC teachers also give grades. If you need more information, please reach out to your child's teacher.
And I know we're running out of time, and we just want to highlight again, Priscilla, can we circle where the returning student enrollment, just with the mouse, just to reiterate, right on that slide where we were before. But we want to remind you again, the importance of updating and using that PowerSchool or parent portal to update your kids' information. There's a ton of resources that Ms. Thompson just shared with us in PowerSchool, and we certainly want to make sure that you know that resource is there. And Ms. Thompson, how long will that be, that option, the returning student enrollment?
We're asking all families to please complete it by the end of this month. We have extended it. We had originally asked for it by the end of September, but we are asking all families to please complete it by the end of the month so that we can switch over to updated contact information. So we have to close one chapter to open another.
And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to your child's school and they will be happy to help out with that.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thompson and Ms. Marshall, for that valuable information for our families on keeping student information current. I want to thank all our families who tuned in tonight. I would also like to remind our families that our next How To webinar class will be on Monday, titled School Nutrition. And we'll have the director of school nutrition on to guide us through that conversation. I'm sure some very helpful information and timely information about student meals and moving forward as we continue with remote online learning. Again, I would like to thank all of our families for tuning in and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.